Hello, my stamping friends. This is Renee Novak at blessedbycards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. I am here today to share with you part one of a three-part series that I have created, a one-sheet wonder using one piece of 12 by 12 paper. And we're using the Peaceful Garden 12 by 12, a sheet of that, and we're going to cut that 12 by 12 down to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. Okay, so let's get started. And it's very, very simple, your cuts. So you're going to cut your strip 4 and then cut another strip of 4. That will give you 3 sets of 4 on your 12 by 12. So today we're only going to focus on 4, 4 3/4 by 4, and 3 1/4 by 4, this first strip. So after you cut that down, you're going to first make your first cut 4 by 4, and then your second cut is going to be 4 3/4 by 4, and we're going to tear that. We're just going to take that piece of paper and we're going to tear it down the middle, and then we're going to create a card with that torn piece. And then the last piece that's left over is a 3 1/4 by 4 piece, and that'll be your first strip. And that is all we're going to focus on today. So let me share with you the 3 cards that I created. So the first card, using that 4 by 4 piece of designer series paper, I mounted that, and again, this is Peaceful Gardens, and I mounted that on a Misty Moonlight card base, and then I added a strip of cloud cover. I stamped Peace on Earth from the Shepherd's Care stamp set, and that is in Secret Sea. I added a white to the inside, and that is card number 1. So in that second strip, if you remember the piece that we tore, so that would be the 4 by 4 3/4, and I just tore that. And if you notice, when you tear it, one side's going to have a white piece and the other side's not. So what you're going to want to do is either take your fingernail and rough that up to get that white to show. You can also use a little sanding brush or sanding paper, or you can use a fingernail file just to rough it up and get that white showing. So that's the trick for the torn. And let me share with you the card that I created. So this one is a cloud cover card base. Again, I'm using the Secret Sea to match the designer series paper. And so for the top half that I glued that on, and the bottom half, you can see it already has a little bit of white. Now it is more white, but you can't really notice it as much once the card's put together. So the only other trick I had on this one is I put the lower piece of designer series paper first, and then I used the Blooming Phrases stamp, and I actually put it on my block, and I manipulated it so that it would mirror my designer series paper. And then I stamped it, and then I added my top piece on so that they would it would just work right in between there. So you'll have to pick and choose what would go in depending on how you tear your paper, what sentiment. If you tear it straight across, then you're going to have a space that you can put more sentiments in. But for this one, it was really easy to manipulate that stamp. Okay, so then our last piece that was left was the 3 1/4 by 4. And what I did was I just used a piece of Misty Moonlight again, and I stuck it on the left side. And then I used another piece of cloud cover to pull out the cloud cover leaves in my paper, and I stamped in the Secret Sea, and I used Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this greeting. Now this Merry Christmas greeting is from a new stamp set in the Holiday Mini Catalog, the Ornamental Christmas. Okay, so those are the 3 cards that I have used to create. And again, that was the first strip, part 1. So join me next week for part 2, and then the week after for part 3, when I am going to share with you 3 more cards for each one of those strips. So thanks so much for joining me. Be sure to hop on over to my blog so you can download your free project sheet and the template so that you can get creating on some of these one sheet wonders. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, be blessed.